Krista Gibson, the host of Keeping It Real. I'm also the publisher of NewSpiritJournal.com. If you've been watching any of my shows, you'll know that this show is all about keeping it real, practical spirituality, taking what we know and learn about spirituality and bringing it into our everyday lives. Now, I don't know about you, but I've kind of noticed that there's a lot of unsettled energy going on in the world right now. And what keeps coming to mind is that quote from A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. I want to read a little bit more from that quote for you because that kept coming to mind. And then when I read part of the rest of it, I was like, oh my gosh. So it goes like this. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. Now, does that sound kind of like a nice synopsis of how many of us feel today? I think so. So I have some really wonderful guests today that I think are going to help us kind of put maybe a different spin on what's going on and maybe offer us some insights and some practical tools and ways to go about handling these energies. And who my guests are Jyotish and Devi, who are the spiritual directors of Ananda. And I'm going to let them tell you who Ananda is, or what Ananda is, in case you're not familiar with that organization. So let's go see what Jyotish and Devi have to say. Welcome, Jyotish and Devi. I'm so glad to have you here.
It's very, very nice to be sharing with you, Krista.
Thank you.
Likewise. It's great to see you.
Oh, same here. Haven't seen you since 1 or 2 summers ago, I guess now.
Yes.
So let's tell our viewers, what is Ananda? I know many people watching know, but many don't. So what is Ananda?
Well, Ananda is many things. First of all, it's a worldwide movement of consciousness based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. So we have teaching centers, we have meditation groups, and we have tens of thousands of people who are connected to Ananda. They practice meditation, they practice the techniques of how to live that Paramahansa Yogananda taught. And then in addition to that, Ananda has several communities. The first community was formed almost 50 years ago in Northern California and has about 1,000 acres and over 200 people living there. Mm-hmm. Then there's a community outside of Seattle in Bothell, Washington, a community in Portland, Oregon, a community in Palo Alto, Sacramento, LA, a big community serving all of Europe in Assisi, Italy, and a couple of communities in India. So communities, a way of life, lots of meditation groups, and many, many people following this way.
And I'd just like to add, because people don't often understand what community means. Mm-hmm. It really means like-minded people coming together. We have no restrictions on age or race or gender preference or religion. If they're open communities, open door communities for people who want to live a simple way of life, but comfortable and trying to live based on higher principles. So, we see it really works. People, when people come, you just see over not very long period of time how they just say, wow, these are my people.
Right.
And whether it's in Italy or India or throughout the United States, it's that idealism that says people are people. There's an innate unity of all religions, all lifestyles, all cultural backgrounds, and this is a place where bringing them together, an extraordinarily satisfying way of life is created.
To be all inclusive. Now, I see Yogananda behind you, his picture. Can you just tell us a little bit for people? I know almost everybody has heard of Autobiography of a Yogi, so they've heard his name, but I'm not sure people really know a little bit about when he came here in the 20s and kind of some of the things that he taught.
Yes, it's a very interesting story, but if your readers or watchers have not yet read Autobiography of a Yogi, I would highly, highly recommend that. Having been with this work for 50 years now, I've seen literally thousands of people who've told me their lives were changed by that book. But Yogananda grew up in India, mainly in Calcutta, northern eastern India. He was extremely spiritual from a young age. Then he met his guru just out of high school. Then he started a school in India. Then he had the calling to come to America. So he came to America in 1920, and he soon started speaking, going on what he called his spiritual campaigns, bringing the teachings of India, the teachings of meditation especially, and related techniques. He was by far the most popular speaker of his time. During the mid-20s, early 30s, he had thousands and thousands of people attending lectures. And then he went on to start his main center in Los Angeles and continued his work there, primarily writing and working more with smaller groups of disciples.
But autobiography has had a profound effect on people all over the world. There was a very good movie that came out, I think 2 years ago now, Awaken, the story of Yogananda's life, which is available. And if your watchers haven't yet read Autobiography, we offer it as a free download. You can go to goyogananda.org, O-R-G, and get a free download of that book. And we've offered this for some time, and people really are very grateful to have this. But the impact that Yogananda's classic Autobiography has had on changing consciousness, from the Beatles to Steve Jobs to Ravi Shankar, it's really, the impact is tremendous. And there was just a big article on the internet. The head of the Indian cricket team, a young man, was holding up Autobiography of Yogi, said, "This book changed my life." And we thought, wow, that's going to sell it in India.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So tell us how the teaching's getting, to what's going on today, and a lot of the frustration and stress and worrisomeness that people are experiencing. How can some of Yogananda's teachings and apply and help people deal with this better? Not, go nuts about it all.
Right. Well, let's start with meditation, because his primary teaching was meditation, trying to get people to meditate. And he also taught a high technique of meditation, Kriya Yoga. But meditation works in such a way that by calming the mind and calming the emotions, it's like waves on the surface of a pond or a sea. We begin to see the depths underneath when the waves are calm. And the depths that we see in our own self are higher qualities of love and joy and peace and harmony. And that's an exact antidote to many of the problems that are going on in society today. So we see within ourselves those qualities. We're much more likely to relate to those qualities in others and feel our unity with other people, as opposed to our disunity. We'll feel love rather than hate and separation. And all of those things are problems that we're facing now in society. So meditation is a precise, one might say, formula or medication of meditation for those societal problems.
And I've practiced meditation for basically my whole adult life, and it really changes your ability to deal with life's problems. It gives you a calm center that whatever comes at you, It may not be a great thing. You may not say, wow, this is really fun. But nevertheless, it enables you to say, look at the longer rhythms, look at the patterns behind what's happening, and to find a kind of reassurance that underneath all the waves of change and confusion that we see in the world around us today, and where you don't really know what's true, what's real, who do you trust? Right. Then by meditating, by trying to associate with other positive people, if you're fearful, if you're anxious, depressed, to hang out with other fearful, anxious, depressed people, it's not going to help you.
Not a good idea.
Yogananda said environment is stronger than willpower. And you may really want to try to be positive, but if everyone around you is pulling you down, it's impossible, nearly. You have to be a real super person to do it. Right. So, in other words, meditation, finding positive people to be with, and then find things you can do, rather than sitting home night after night looking at the news on the TV or the internet and just, I have to resist doing that myself because I find I just go to sleep with all those confusing thoughts in my mind. But if you can find some positive way to make a difference, helping other people, finding service projects, so all of these things, meditation, positive people, positive environment around you, and finding way to be a change, to make a difference in the world.
And I think one of the things that you're talking about, and Swami Kriyananda, the founder of Ananda, talks about this, and meditation helps you do it, which is living in the spine.
Yes.
Which is, and I think of that, to me, that's such a good visual as I'm going about my day, or if I find myself in a stressful situation, is to remind myself, live in the spine, and can you talk about that a bit, because it really brings you back to your center.
Yes, there are several approaches. One is to actually feel that your primary energy is in the spine. Yogananda said the true altar that we worship on is the altar of our central nervous system. So the spinal cord, and more especially the brain, the central nervous system, is where the changes really take place and where we're either off base or on base. So the more we can feel that we're living in that spine, then the better we are. Secondly, not only to feel that we're in the spine, but that the energy is rising up the spine. Because rising up means it's a positive flow of energy, and our reactions will be positive. When we're depressed or gloomy or angry or any negative qualities, the energy goes down the spine. So feel you're in the spine, the energy is rising up, especially to the point between the eyebrows. And now we have thousands of medical studies showing that meditation and concentrating here actually changes the brain structure, and changes the brain waves, and makes us more compassionate, more expansive, calmer, and withdraws the energy from the primitive brain where anger and fear and violence is centered.
And isn't that part of what if you could talk about Kriya Yoga a little bit, because I know you mentioned it briefly earlier, but Kriya Yoga is not Hatha Yoga, the stretching, physical movements, but it's a meditation technique. And isn't that part of what helps you do exactly what you're talking about?
That's right, Krista. Kriya Yoga is the most advanced technique of meditation that Yogananda brought to the West. It's a very ancient technique. It's not something that he invented or originated, but it's part of the wealth of helpful practices that the science of yoga includes. And when we say living in the spine, some people may not even know what we mean by that. It isn't the physical spine. Hatha Yoga is great for stretching the physical spine. Kriya Yoga is great for stretching the energy flow. That's what we're talking about, the flow of energy. And even a little practice of meditation concentrating at the spiritual eye, the point between the eyebrows, you start to feel a flow of energy in your spine, and you can bring it up to the higher centers of awareness, activating them. And that's why meditation helps you to deal with life, because it's pulling your awareness away from the centers of subconscious fears and anxiety and bringing it to a center. The prefrontal lobe is what the medical field calls it. But this is the center where you become a cause in the world. You take action. You're not just reacting all the time to things around you. And I do want to mention, Krista, I've mentioned this to you in person, but I so enjoyed your autobiography.
Oh,
and
thank you.
You live these teachings. Your life has not been an easy one, but you were able to always find the next positive step.
Right.
And so you have a lot to share with people as well.
Right. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah, and I am a Kriya. I practice Kriya Yoga myself and have for several years. So I'm trying to be sure I don't make assumptions that I know what you're talking about for people watching who don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
Because when you're involved in it, it's really easy to go, oh yeah. And somebody's going, what the heck are they talking about?
Right.
But I think the point that we're all trying to make here, all three of us, is in today's world, there is so much that pulls us off of center. That's even right. More maybe. I mean, I know we've had all different historical times, but right now, certainly in my lifetime, this is some of the most dramatic situations we've had that can pull us way out there. And if we're out there instead of in here, then we will be upset. And it's very hard then to come back to center. Now, you offer all kinds of classes and online things, and I get your email where you do your blog, which is awesome. But you're going to actually be doing a tour. Can we talk about that a bit?
We're going to do a tour on the West Coast called Share the Light.
Choose the Light.
Choose the Light. And it's meant to help people actually do that, choose the light. So we'll be speaking in Palo Alto this coming weekend, and people can tune in. If they go to Ananda.org, they can get all of the schedules. Right. But we'll be in Palo Alto. We'll also be in Seattle in July. June, excuse me.
I'm already signed up for that.
On June 9th. At 7 o'clock at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Right.
We'll do a big program there. We'll have a program in Portland and one in Los Angeles. And people can tune in at ananda.org to that schedule and see where they might connect with us. But if you can't come in person, we have lots of other ways. These programs, by and large, are being live streamed as we do them. And then we have many, many other ways to connect. We have ongoing classes through onlinewithananda.org. We have dozens of classes, including all the how to meditate and preparation for Kriya Yoga classes.
And you even have a spiritual community online.
Yes, we do. We have a virtual community with people from all over the world. But I wanted to mention, if your viewers go to ananda.org/events, they can sign up for these live streaming broadcasts from Palo Alto, Los Angeles, Portland. The one in Seattle, unfortunately, they didn't have live streaming capabilities, but you can come in person. And let me just mention a little bit. The topic for this, the program in Seattle on June 9th is Awaken Your True Potential. And that's what we're talking about, really, how to find the strength within yourself to deal with the changes we find in the world. And we're actually starting a campaign throughout Ananda based on Gandhi's quote, and we're calling it Be the Change. So if we all want to see positive things being presented to the world, then we need to change ourselves. And the techniques of meditation and everything we've been talking about are the best means to do that.
With that Be the Change campaign, we're reaching out to people no matter what race, religion, anything, anyone who meditates and we're trying to get people to pledge so that we can accumulate 1 million hours of meditation for peace and harmony in the world.
It's not a fundraising drive, it's a fundraising drive. And so we're trying to get everyone to pledge certain hours throughout the year of meditation, so collectively we can feel we're part of this community of high-minded people.
And it doesn't matter what meditation technique people use, to participate in this, is what you're saying. It doesn't matter what religion, what faith, and if you do it 5 minutes here, because I know that's one of the things that I hear from people who want to meditate and don't. It's like, I don't have 3 hours a day to sit and meditate. Well, that's okay. Start with 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can do, and intersperse it through your day.
That's right.
And the medical studies have found that even as little as 15 minutes a day for 2 to 4 weeks already changes the brain.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
It works very quickly, and for those who are looking to give significant energy to their spiritual path, longer meditation is better.
Right.
But as Swami said, you spend 5 minutes brushing your teeth. Why not spend 5 minutes cleaning your mind and soul a day?
That's very true.
It just, one of the great scriptures of India, the Bhagavad Gita, says, even a little practice of meditation will free one, and this is a quote, from dire fears and colossal sufferings. Well, look around you.
It's time.
Yeah, right.
Let's deal with those dire fears and colossal sufferings. Well, we're coming to the end of our time. Is there anything I haven't asked or anything? Because I know with all the teaching you do and everything, we could go on for hours. But is there anything I haven't asked or that in particular you want to say to our viewers that I haven't asked you to say?
Well, I just add some information. You told us so that all these details will be posted. But Jyotish and I write a weekly blog.
Yes.
That's very well received with readers all over the world, and people can sign up for that. Just jyotishanddevi.org and hit subscribe, and you get a free blog every Friday. But other than that, the details people can get on the follow-up. But I think the most important thing is that not to lose hope right now. Mm-hmm. You are not alone. People need to feel that there are people of goodwill and integrity and honor all over the world. And we look at people in power and leadership, and it's so discouraging because you think, well, where is truth lost? Is integrity lost? We're not. There is a truth of the universe, and it's based on right action. All religions teach this, every single one, that loving your neighbor, helping those in need, being honest and truthful, performing your life in a way that at the end of your life you can say, I'm proud of that life that I lived. Right. And to just remember you're not alone. Find people now that whatever church or faith or support group you belong to, find people that are trying to really affirm hope and faith and the belief that humanity is better than it's showing itself to be right now.
Right. And I would say just take charge of your own life and your own happiness. Don't let politicians or world events or others determine things for you. You have the choice to be happy, to be centered, to share your light. And if you do make those choices, you'll be a much happier and more effective person.
Thank you. Such great words of wisdom. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it. And I will be at the June event in Seattle. So I'm looking forward to the Saturday event, the retreat. So I look forward to that. And I encourage my viewers, check out all the links that we're posting with this and watch you online or wherever it works for them. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
It's a joy sharing time with you.
Really, and we'll see you in June.
Absolutely.
And we hope many of those who are watching your show today will get to meet you in person.
Me too.
So God bless you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. What wonderful information that was. That was really some good tips, and I would suggest listening to it again. You know, Jyotish and Devi said a lot of really good things in a short period of time. And one thing I want to add that I'm sure we would have gotten to it if we had talked longer is to remember that this world, this planet is all God's play. That we're all just actors in this play. That's all it is. And, you know, look at your life and what's going on in the world as a novel. You know, and instead of being afraid of what's going to happen, or pretend, you know, it's a movie and say, well, gosh, I wonder what's going to happen next. And, you know, every good story has to have pluses and minuses, you know, good things and bad things. So if you can kind of pull back, stay in your spine, and look at it that way, life becomes a lot easier to navigate. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you again on my next show. And in the meantime, please remember what? Keep it real.